You see what you see. Yeah, you see what you see. Your eyes ain't playing tricks on you. You see exactly what you see. So you already know what time it is. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a minute. But hey, you already know what time it is. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some basketball, Orlando Magic basketball. Today we're going to talk about the Orlando Magic's offseason and what they need to do to get this offseason right. But this ain't just your regular run-the-mill offseason video for the Orlando Magic. Oh, no. This ain't just a regular run-the-mill offseason video, because this video right here is not just for the Orlando Magic fans. It's not just for the fan base. This is also for Jeff Wellman and also Magic General Manager Anthony Parker, because we have to get this offseason right. We have to, because if we don't, Magic as a fan base, we've seen this movie a couple times before in our franchise history, and we don't want a repeat of the same movie. So we have to get this offseason right. There's no more games. We have to actually get this offseason right. I know everybody's feeling good. We got new jerseys and new logos and everything right now around the team is buzzing and things like that. All the new information is coming out. I understand all that, but we cannot lose sight of what's really going on, and we cannot lose focus. And we have to get this offseason right, because if we don't, if we don't, we already know what time it is. Now let's talk about it. Now, the last time I did Orlando Magic video was right after the trade deadline, maybe like a week or so after the trade deadline, where I kind of voiced my frustration about the Orlando Magic not making any moves. Now, was I surprised that the Magic didn't make any moves during the trade deadline? No, I wasn't. But just because I wasn't surprised doesn't mean I wasn't irritated, and doesn't mean I wasn't at least disappointed that we didn't do anything and want us to make a move. But because around that time, that was during the darkest time of the Orlando Magic season. It was probably the roughest month and a half that we had. That late January, February, and then also going into early March. Now, later March, beginning of April, the Magic kind of stirred the ship a little bit, able to get 41-41, able to host the playing game, beat Atlanta soundly in the playing game, and end up going to be the seventh seed and going up against the Boston Celtics. End up losing that series in 5 against the Boston Celtics. But we seen a great performance out of Paolo Banchero. I think Paolo was the best player on the court, and that's including with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the court during that series. I think that the last 2 postseasons in both matchups, the one against Cleveland last year and the one against Boston this year, Paolo was the best player on the court in both series. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to go back, because I didn't talk about that in the beginning of the season, because this season had a lot of ups and downs. And we kicked off the season, we was talking about being a top 4 seed. We were talking about winning 50 wins and, like I said, be a top 4 seed in the East. We really had high expectations going into this season. And the season started off with a bang. And it looked like that. I mean, Paolo looked like, hey, he's about to be an all NBA player. Paolo looked like he was about to get ready to take that next step. And then he has the oblique injury. He was like, oh man, what's going to happen to the season? But then after that, Franz really stepped up, and I think really submitted himself as that number 2. We had conversations that people even talking about that maybe Franz is the best player on the team. I still think that's Paolo. And I actually kind of think it's Paolo by a wider margin than people really might think, but that's a conversation for another day. But at the end of the day, Franz really showed you what he can do. And he kept his team and was keeping his team above float. The Orlando Magic was still in the top 4 seeding while he was there. And then he ended up catching and getting the oblique injury himself. He missed less time than Paulo's. Evidently, his wasn't as serious as Paulo's, but that's really when, okay, maybe the season looked like it was about to take a turn. And that's really, well, okay, the team kept on getting on flow. We just need to get the Paolo. Just get Paolo back, get Franz back. And then when we get Paolo back, we end up losing Mo Wagner for the season. We end up losing Suggs for the season, and we end up getting Paulo and end up getting Franz back later on in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, and we were able to steer the ship and get into the playoffs and able to at least win a playoff game in the series. We didn't get swept in the first round against Boston, and the series was pretty competitive for a couple of those games, but a lot of your issues really were in light of that series. And now it gets us to where we at right here, right now. And this is, I believe, a very important off season, probably one of the most important off seasons for the Orlando Magic that we've had in a long time. And the Orlando Magic have to get this right. Like they have to get this right because you're going to end up this season, this offseason, you're going to give Paulo the max. You're going to give him the rookie max. You're not going to, lowball him or anything like that. You're going to go out there and you're going to give him the rookie max. And potentially because of the stuff that he'd be able to acquire, we're talking about a guy who could potentially be a super max type of player. Because I do believe that Paulo is going to be a all NBA, all-star, in MVP and clutch player type conversations going into the future. So he's going to be a guy that could be looking at getting a super max down the road. So we're talking about the guy who's going to get paid. And once you pay him, you are on a timetable. The clock starts that once you pay him and you give him that type of bag, we are going to be on a timetable. We have to make actual legitimate moves. I was saying this during the Twitter Spaces. Shout out to everybody to be on the Twitter Spaces on the Magic Orlando Magic HQ Twitter Spaces. I'll be on there after the games, and I said that several times that the Orlando Magic have to realize who they are as an organization. You got to realize that we're not just a starter team anymore. We're not a team that, okay, hey, we got draft picks, we got draft capital, we can build through the draft and do these type of things. Like, no, you got to realize that you have a legitimate superstar. You have a legitimate budding superstar. He's not a superstar right now. Right now, he's on trajectory to become that. But once he opens that door, he's going to be a legitimate superstar. We are talking about a all NBA potential player in Paulo Banchero. I mean, we seen the video about, was it Perk and Richard Jefferson? I forgot who the other player was. A former basketball player was talking about dark horses for the MVP next year. Now, I don't think he's going to be an MVP next year. I do think he will be an all-star and will be an all-NBA player. Could be first team, could be second team, could be third team. I don't know, but I feel like he will be a top 15 player in the NBA, so which gives him all NBA rankings, either third, second, or first all NBA teams. And I do think that he'll be in conversations like Clutch Player of the Year awards and things like that. But I do think that if not this next year, in the next 2 years, he would be a MVP caliber player. He would be a guy that will be finishing somewhere in that top 7 range, potentially top 5 range of the MVP conversation. Not next year, but the following season. That's the type of player that we're talking about. We're not just talking about just a regular meal, a guy who gets to be on the All-Star because it's a weaker conference and things like that. No, we're talking about an actual potential budding superstar. And when you have those type of players, but you don't have the team success, that's when you start hearing all the noise. That's when you start hearing all the noise, and you see the talking heads on all the networks, on all the networks, be like, "Hey, you need to get him out of there. Hey, he needs to leave this organization. He needs to leave. He needs to put himself into a better team." You hear Perk talking about Devin Booker, talking about he's going to feel differently about Devin Booker if Devin Booker doesn't leave Phoenix. If he's made it to the playoffs, he's made it to the NBA Finals. Now, again, Phoenix is in a different situation because, again, they're not making the playoffs, and it looks like they're a bad organization. The way they're being ran is being bad and horrible. So that's a little different situation. And he's also been in Phoenix for the last, 10 years, I think. So now I can't remember exactly when Devin Booker was drafted into the NBA, but he's been in the NBA for a while and been on Phoenix the entire time. So that's a little bit different. But you still don't want to lose sight of it. You don't want to keep on doing these little small moves. We need to actually make real grown up big boy moves. We need to make actual championship contending moves. We don't need to be making little small moves like a KCP. I was never a fan of the KCP signing last year. But again, that was on brand for what the Orlando Magic have done, especially under Jeff Weltman. Jeff Weltman has yet to actually do a actual real move. Jeff Weltman's biggest move since he's been here, and I'm not counting the draft because, again, you'll say drafting Paulo, drafting France. I'm not talking about that. As far as acquiring a player, his biggest move in being here and being in Orlando is actually trading for Markel Fultz. Now, AG asked for a trade. Now, he actually did the right decision by trading Vooch to Chicago and actually getting the draft pick to was able to acquire to get France. So I'll give you that as far as him trading a player and getting a pick back and able to use that pick to go out there and draft France. So I'll give you that. That makes a lot of sense as far as a big move. But other than that, his biggest acquisition is trading for Markel Fultz. That's his biggest acquisition to this date. And That's just not going to cut it. Moves like that, moves like KCP, is not going to cut it. And I was of the mindset that the moment once you drafted Paolo Banchero, that was it. Once you drafted Paolo Banchero and Paolo came out there and was rookie of the year and played the way he played and completely, I forgot how many wins we went from having the number one overall pick to what Paolo did his rookie year. Right then and there, I knew that Paolo's your number one. Franz already was looking like a guy. Same thing with Suggs. I mean, Suggs was up and down, but this Suggs is somebody you can definitely build with again, especially him being your third player. We had 2 draft picks in the 2023 draft. We had 1 draft pick in last year's draft, and then we have 2 draft picks in this year's draft. So I'm like, these draft picks that we got from the Vooch trade and from the AG trade, because we have Denver pick this year because the AG trade, and in 2023 we had the other pick from the Vooch trade. Use these picks and go out there and get you some dogs. Go out there and get you some players. Bring in some assets. Don't make we don't need any more young players. We don't need to be drafting any more young players. Go out there and get some players, get some dudes on this team so we can go ahead and win now. You look at what San Antonio did. What you call it? Wemby has only been in the NBA for 2 years, and the Spurs have already went out there and got De'Aaron Fox. They're in talks and potentially be able to get somebody like a Kevin Durant or also a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Again, now they also have the second pick in the draft as well, and they also have Castle that they drafted. But they are out there making moves to show their superstar, their potential superstar, like, hey, we are ready to win. We are ready to win with you. We want you to go out there. We want to put the best team around you. We want you to win. And that is a actual championship-minded organization. Because there's a difference between being a championship-minded organization and a championship hopeful, wishful organization. And we have to stop acting like the latter and start acting like the former. We have to stop acting like a hopeful organization, a want to win championship organization, and start actually acting like a legitimate championship organization, understanding who we are and making the necessary moves that we need to make. We already know what it is. We need offense. Our offense is putrid. No matter how you look at it, our offense is completely horrible. Our offense is 30th in points per game, 27th in efficiency, 27 in percentages, in shooting percentage, 22nd in 2-point percentage, 30th in 3-point position, 3-point percentage, 29th in field goals made, 29th in field goals attempted, 30th in assists, and 28th in assists per possession. That's how bad our offense is. Either 30th or 28th in most categories, and the highest one is 22nd. That's how bad and putrid our offense is. And then when you watch the game, our offense is clunky. There's no real direction, no real scheme with the offense. Like, the offense just looks like it's just a bad offense. So it's not just shooting, it's just the offense in general. That's why I really think the Magic, what they really need is a point guard. I feel like we need somebody, a legitimate ball handler, to actually set up the offense and be able to get the offense going and flowing, get easy shots for Paolo, get easy shots for Franz, an actual legitimate offense to be set up. And Paolo said this last year. He said that he doesn't want the ball in his hand all the time. Like, he wants to get the ball out of his hand. He doesn't want that responsibility. But what did the Orlando Magic do last year? They went out there and got KCP. And again, like I said, this year, you're going to pay Paolo. Once you pay Paolo, you on the clock. This summer, for sure next summer. After that, if the Orlando Magic are not in the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals, and they still winning, either winning no playoff series or only getting into the second round, like I said, they're going to start looking at the Orlando Magic, and they're going to start looking at Paolo Banchero, and people are going to be like, hey, Paolo need to get up out of there. And you don't want that. You don't want that circling around Paolo. I understand. I know what Paolo said after the season. They know he wants to be here and stuff like that. This is city and things like that. Again, what he's supposed to say. He's not going to go out there and say, I don't like it here. Like, he's not going to say that. I'm not saying that he's lying. But I'm just saying, what else was he going to say? He's not going to tell you that he doesn't want to be here. He's not going to say that. He's not ever going to say that unless he's not here anymore or unless he's asking for a trade. So he's never going to say that. So I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm just saying that what else he gonna say? So I'm not surprised. That wasn't a revelation. That wasn't like, oh, Paulo said he's gonna stay, so he gonna stay. Like, what else he's going to say? Like, he's not going to say anything else. So I understand that. And again, I understand what Jeff Wubman said, that he understands what he needs to do this season, this offseason. He needs to make moves. I ain't gonna lie, I really don't trust him because I know we said after the trade deadline they talking about he felt like he was getting squeezed, and that's why he didn't make any moves because it seemed like it wasn't the right decisions out there. He felt like he was being squeezed. If you feel like you was being squeezed at the trade deadline, after what I just named, and that you go into the playoffs and your offense looks absolutely horrifying on a national stage because of the playoff game against the Boston Celtics. You know, we had primetime playoff games against the Boston Celtics. Like, we were talking about, we playing on ABC, we're playing on TNT. We wasn't playing on NBA TV. We were actually getting the national stage because we were playing against the defending NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, a historic franchise in the Boston Celtics. So everybody got to see how bad and putrid your offense is. So if you thought you were getting squeezed, at the trade deadline, what you think is going to happen this summer, bro? It's going to be even worse. But again, I thought that was just a cop out. I thought that was just him just talking. I never really thought that we were getting squeezed. I never thought that that was like a thing. I thought that he was just talking. That was his excuse for not making any moves. Again, I never thought that he was going to make a move anyway. And I'm skeptical of him making a legitimate move this summer. I hope I'm wrong. Trust and believe. I hope I'm wrong. But he hasn't proven me wrong yet because I knew he wasn't going to make a legitimate move last year. Like, I know people have been talking about Anthony Simon. People have been talking about Darius Garland. People have been talking about Kobe White. People have been talking about Colin Sexton. These are names. Trae Young. These are names that were thrown out this offseason. Or I've heard for the last couple weeks, last couple months. These are also, for the most part, some of the same names that were thrown out last year. Definitely Anthony Simon. Definitely Darius Garland. Trae Young was the name that was thrown out last summer. DeJounte Murray was a name thrown out last summer. Like, there was names thrown out last summer swirling around the Orlando Magic. From the fan base, from people on Twitter, from national people throwing out these same names last year. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. And when they said something about KCP a free agent, I'm like, okay, that's probably something that the Orlando Magic would do. That's a move that they will do. They'll go out there, they'll sign KCP. That's a move that they'll definitely make. So I wasn't surprised about that move. Now I know what it was, the whole conversation with Paul George. I think either land the meeting with the Orlando Magic. And you had some people hyped about that. Never wanted Paul George either because I think Paul George's time is gone. Like, I don't want any of those older guys like a Kevin Durant, anything like that. I think a perfect guy for the Orlando Magic, a perfect player for the Orlando Magic is actually Chris Paul. It's just unfortunate that Chris Paul is 40 years old. Like, if this was 10 years ago, if this is the Chris Paul that went to the Houston Rockets or the Chris Paul that ended up going to the Oklahoma City Thunder for a year, even the Chris Paul that went to Phoenix and they went to the NBA Finals, if that was Chris Paul is the perfect player to be added to the Orlando Magic. He's an actual point guard. He's going to set up the offense. He's going to get the offense in the right positions. He's going to get the players in the right position. He's going to give Paolo and Franz easy shots. He's going to be able to play defense. He has a mid-range game, so he doesn't going to sit back and just try to chunk up threes all game. He has a mid-range shot. He's going to be able to get. He's going to be able to get to the rim. He has exactly what the Orlando Magic needed, and he is the perfect fit. It's just unfortunate that he's 40 years old. So his timetable doesn't match ours, and I don't know exactly what he will have as far as being a starting point guard for the Orlando Magic. If I'm not mistaken, he's with San Antonio, and the Spurs didn't really do anything, and they have Wemby, and they also had De'Aaron Fox. So I know injuries has stuff to do with that as well. But that's nothing because we keep on talking about injuries with the Orlando Magic. When Paolo came back, the Orlando Magic, Paolo came back on January 10th. The Orlando Magic on January 9th were 22-16 and were fourth in the Eastern Conference. Franz came back on January 23rd. So from Paolo to France, the Magic played 6 games. They were 1-5 in those 6 games. We know Paulo came back and scored like 35 points his first game back. So again, now they were able to, after that, they were able to finish the season 18-20 and able to be 41-41. Like I said, that was like the darkest times of the Orlando Magic. So even though the Magic have injuries, I know like Jalen Suggs, that was a big part of it because he's like the cog in the machine that keeps the machine going. He's the heart of the team and stuff like that. A very probably our best defensive player. I mean, he was all defensive player last year. He made all defensive team last year. So he's definitely our best on ball defender. And missing him was a huge part. Was a huge part of the Magic not realizing their potential and end up being a 7 seed instead of being like a 6 seed or a 5th seed, anything like that. But I do think even if the Magic were healthier, I don't think the story still ends differently. I think it still ends the exact same. I think you get into the first round and you still probably potentially lose the first round because they don't have it offensively. Because the issues that we had all season are the same issues that we had last year against Cleveland. Same issues we had last year. We just won in spite of that because Paulo and Franz were the type of players they were, and you were able to be the 5th seed and actually had a legitimate chance to be in the 2nd seed the last week of the season. With the last like 3 games of the season, you had a legitimate shot to win the 2nd seed. You lost, I think, 2 of the last. Then you lost 2 of the last 4, and that ended up putting you into the 5th seed category. But being the 5th seed and going on the road to Cleveland, taking Cleveland to a 7-game series, which again should have won that series in 6 because they really should have. We should have won Game 5. We won Game 6, and then we were up by 20 points at halftime in Game 7. Like we should have won Game 7. Like we were in that first half, we were dog walking Cleveland, but the rest of the team ran out of gas because they don't have it offensively, and you let Paulo there by himself. Like you left Paulo on the island by himself. And that's what I'm talking about, the warning that this is a warning and this is a wake-up call, Orlando Magic organization. Jeff Wellman, Anthony Parker. This is a warning. You have to get this right. You have a legitimate budding superstar on your roster. You do. You got to get this right. You have to get this decision right. You can't just make small little moves. You have to actually make real contending moves. And all this, well, I see trade scenarios and I see people like hanging up on, I'm not getting rid of Anthony Black. I'm not getting rid of Jonathan Isaac. Y'all not ready to win championships, bro. Like everybody really on the cool, everybody except Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner is on the table. Everybody. I know what people feel about Jalen Suggs. And I think that Jalen Suggs is as close to an untouchable as being as close to being an untouchable asset without actually being an untouchable asset. Because I do think if it's the right player, if we're talking about the right player, I do think you have to entertain it. Look at Boston and look at Marcus Smart. They went to the finals with Marcus Smart. They decided they trade Marcus Smart to get Drew Holiday NBA championship. Won the NBA championship. Marcus Smart is the exact same player as Jalen Suggs. Was the heart of the team, the cog in the defense, probably their best on-ball defender. Like all the things that we saying about Jalen Suggs, Boston fans probably said the same thing about Marcus Smart. And I know Boston fans were upset that they traded Marcus Smart for Drew Holiday, but they wasn't upset when they was hosting up their Larry O'Brien Trophy against the Dallas Mavericks when they won the NBA Finals. And Drew Holiday was a huge part of them winning the championship. Sometimes you have to make that type of move. Like sometimes you have to put on your actual NBA fans and you have to put on your big boy pants. You have to make those type of championship level moves. You cannot be afraid to make those type of moves. You can't sit on your hands and play patty cake. You have to be able to make those actual legitimate championship moves. Like I said, there's a difference between championship teams and championship mindsets, championship organizations, and championship hopefuls. Wishing they can get championships, hoping they can get championships. There's a difference in the mindset. One's going to do whatever they can. One's going to be able to do whatever they can. And again, Jeff Webber said himself, hey, sometimes we might have to sacrifice some defense to get offense. Now again, some of them is a no go. Like some trading for a certain player is a no go. And I'm gonna drop some videos about different trade options and different scenarios and different caliber players. Y'all gonna like some, y'all not gonna like some. It is what it is. But some of these guys are and should be on the table for the Orlando Magic to try to acquire if they're able to make it happen. Because again, um, we financially don't have a lot to actually go out there and get a lot of free agents. And also, this season is not really a lot of free agents, so a lot of things are going to be done moving wise throughout the through a trade. And also, your window is now because this is probably the most wide open that the Eastern Conference is going to be, especially next year. Jason Tatum is going to be out with injury. I'm of the mindset I think that Giannis is going to be in the West. I think Giannis is going to end up being the Spur, going to end up being the Houston Rocket. And if he does end up on the East, outside of unless he went to a team like Detroit, I really don't see the shift is because I know Halliburton just hit the game with a shot against OKC in game one. I know that they could potentially win the night, can win the night in OKC, and it could be up 2-0 and end up going back to Indiana up 2-0. I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of Indiana. I'm not afraid of Halliburton. I'm not afraid of Pascal Siakam. I'm not afraid of Indiana. If Giannis goes to the Knicks, I do think that him and Jalen Brunson, that definitely would be a formidable team. But that's only one team in the Eastern Conference. That still leaves the door open for the second team in the Eastern Conference to get to an Eastern Conference championship. The road to get to an Eastern Conference championship next year is going to be wide open. I don't trust Cleveland, and more than likely they're going to break that team up anyway. Either they're going to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, they're going to get rid of Darius Garland. I think more than likely it'll be Darius Garland who they get rid of. So I think that team is going to be not as good as they were this past year, obviously, because that team was like a 60-win team, if I'm not mistaken, like number one team in the Eastern Conference. Like as far as the regular season, I'm not I'm not sold on them. Boston, Jason Tatum is going to be out probably the entirety of the season next year. Same thing with Dame. That's the reason why Giannis is probably going to end up leaving. He's going to end up, in my opinion, end up being a Rocket or a Spur, maybe even a New York Knicks. Anywhere else, it's the same thing. If he goes to Miami, it ain't no different than him being in Milwaukee. If he goes to Brooklyn, ain't no different than him being in Milwaukee. Now, if he goes to Detroit, that could be a little bit different with him and Kay Cunningham. That could be a little bit different. But outside of that, if he goes to New York, I said that's just one team. Now, if he goes, like I said, if he went to over there with Cade, then we are talking about him because I do think the Knicks are still a decent team, and then you still obviously have Indiana. But the fact of the matter is, the Eastern Conference next year for sure is going to be completely wide open, and also they're going to be open. I think we're going to be entering a new regime of the Eastern Conference for the next couple of years. So the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, is going to be open. So right now is the time to make these moves and stop sitting on your hands and actually make actual legitimate championship level moves and stop playing around. Stop playing around because, like I said, once you sign Paulo, is it. Once you sign Paulo, is it. And now we're going to be watching you. And Paulo's going to be watching you and watching who you bringing into this dope, who you bringing into this facility, who you putting on this team, who are you putting on this team. What are you doing? Who are you putting on this team? And what are we doing going forward? What are we doing going forward? Because I need to know championship wise if I actually have a legitimate shot here. Not to mention Orlando's a small market, so it's going to be kind of hard to get the huge big names. I mean, luckily back in the day when Tracy was available, Tracy was from the crib, and Tracy wanted to come home. Tracy wanted to put on the jersey of his favorite player, Penny Hardaway. He wanted to wear that same Orlando Magic jersey like Penny Hardaway. And you were able to get him in Orlando, two-time scoring champion, four-time All-Star, with three-time first team on NBA. I think one time was a second team on NBA when he was in Orlando. I think that was his 4 years in Orlando. Was a three-time first team, one-time second team. I know two-time scoring champion. I know four-time All-Star, if I'm not mistaken. And you were able to get to the playoffs 3 of the 4 years, but you never won a series. You never won an NBA series. Never won an NBA series. The only time the Orlando Magic have gotten out of the first round is when Shaq was on the team or when Dwight was on the team. Anyone else, we've always lost in the first round. And Paulo, like I said, in the playoffs, the last 2 years have been the best player on the court. In the series with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland opposite him, and then with the defenders, with the defending NBA champions, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, still the best player. You know, Paulo this season. This season, Paulo averaged 25-9, 7.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists. In the playoffs, he averaged 29.4, 8.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists. Franz averaged 24.2 in the regular season, 5.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists. In the playoffs, he averaged 25.8 in the playoffs, 4.8 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. Both of those guys elevated their game, and I was kind of questioning Franz because last year Franz really didn't show me nothing in that Cleveland series. I'm like, is he really a playoff performer? And then also in the playing game, he really looked kind of iffy in the playing game against Atlanta. But when the real playoffs kicked off, and we went up against Boston, he went out there. He elevated his game. Paulo was unstoppable. Paulo showed you on both accords last year and this year. He's not somebody to play with. Like, he really is that dude. So he's showing you this. Everybody else seeing it. You got to realize who you are as an organization. And like, hey, we have to do what we have to do. We got to do what we got to do and actually make this a legitimate championship contending organization for our superstar. We got to be able to do this. We have to be able to do this. Like, we have to be able to make this a legitimate championship organization for our superstar. Now, news this past week, guys, I actually do want to talk about this. The Orlando Magic started the whole rebrand, got the brand new jerseys, got the brand new logo, and I ain't gonna lie to you. Again, I knew that we were getting new jerseys. I found this out like maybe about a month or so ago that we were going to end up getting new jerseys this season. I'm actually surprised how soon. I always think it was going to be later on the summers. I guess they want to get it done before the NBA draft. I'm assuming that's why they announced it. So I was just surprised so soon because the NBA finals, like the playoffs are still going on. Like the NBA finals, I think was like 2 days before the Eastern Conference Finals just wrapped up. If I'm not mistaken, Game 7 would have been on Monday. We released the jerseys on Tuesday. It's like, so what if the Magic would have still been playing? Like, what if they would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals? And like, hey, Game 7, hey, he got new jerseys the day after. Like that I just thought that was kind of funny. But now my opinion, I like it. My favorite one is the white one. The white jersey is clean. Like that we went back to the classic. Like that we put the star as the A as it should be. Really love that. Really love that. I like the blue one. The font on the blue, like the letters, I guess because the word Orlando is kind of like it's a long word. So on the blue jersey, like the font being like smaller, is kind of okay, but that's just a little small little tweak. But it's still cool. I like it. Love that they brought have the pinstripes. The black one, I ain't gonna lie. When I first seen the black one, I didn't like it. Like when I first seen it, because the blue part, the blue part caught me off guard. But then as I seen it more throughout the day, it kind of grew on me. Like the blue part kind of grew on me, and then I seen it was it's homage. It pays homage to the old warm up. So like, okay, that's a cool little detail. That is a cool little detail. Then I seen an edit of someone making it like having it instead of the blue, having it all black. That was fire. Whoever made that edit, shout out to you. Whoever wasn't made that edit, shout out to you. Like that, if that was it, that would have been that black one would have been my favorite one, hands down, because that one was clean. So again, the black and blue one has grown on me. It's still my least favorite of the three. I end up at the end of the day liking them all. It's still my least favorite of the three. The white one, hands down, is the best one. Like I said, now if that black one would have been all pinstripe, because I do like the fact that the Magic logo was slanted. I like that. I like the updated logo. I see how I say somebody had put a meme up like how all the NBA logos now got that one circle, and it's kind of like okay, it seems like the NBA is definitely like transitioning to a certain look, making everything, I guess, like on brand with each other. But the basketball itself, I like it, and I love the fact that they darken the shade of blue, because like that darker blue. Like blue is my favorite color, no matter how you look at it. Dark blue, royal blue, navy blue, light blue. Any way you look at it, any version of blue is my favorite color. Like my favorite color is blue. So anytime somebody asks me my favorite color of blue, they be like, "What shade?" Any shade of blue. If I had to nitpick and be like, "What's your specific shade of blue is your favorite?" I do choose this royal. I do choose royal blue over all the other blues, and like in royal blue and black is my favorite like color combination. Like I love this. I love that the way that they match up against each other. So I do like that aspect of it. But I like that it's the old logo, like the old basketball, but more modern. I know some people say they didn't like it. They say it looked kind of cartoony. I like it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like it. And then like the courts, I think the courts are clean. When I seen it with the black, I seen it with just the blue basketball by itself. I also seen it with the basketball with the star. Like I think the courts are going to be fire. Like and then have the blue around it. I think the Orlando Magic courts are going to be fire. Now I'm definitely wondering what the City Edition jersey is going to look like. You know, the City Edition, you get a court with the City Edition, and also you get a court for the was it the end game tournament. Speaking of courts, NBA, y'all gotta bring back the Finals trophy on the court during the NBA Finals. Like we need the Finals trophy. Got seen a picture. Somebody posted a picture of when the Magic had played the Lakers last time. The Magic were in the Finals in 2009, which is my favorite Magic team of all time. And we were playing there, and that's my favorite Magic logo. By the way, is that logo like with the star, the star and the A, and then the star as the dot. Like they had that Magic logo with the Larry O'Brien trophy in behind it. That's clean. And then you have finals and cursive written on the court, like on the side of the court, so like in the small corners of the court. NBA, y'all gotta bring that back, and also bring back the finals trophy on the chest. I know y'all putting the advertisements of the teams. I know like Magic got Disney. I know well I know OKC got like the Loves and stuff like that. I know y'all putting the advertisement. Hey, if y'all gotta put the advertisement back on the back of the jersey. Put that NBA or put the brand like the Nike or the Jordan or whatever brand, whoever make their jersey. Put that on the back of the jersey, whatever. We need the Larry O'Brien Finals trophy patch. We need that right there. Every other sport has it. Like you look at football, you look at the Super Bowl, you look at college football, you look at the championship games, you look at the conference championship games. You look at the bowl games. You look at like the NBA. I mean the NBA, but the college playoffs. You look at the Final Fours. Like you see those put that advertisement, just like how you put the advertisement of the in-game tournament all over the court. The 3-point line is the in-season trophy. Like y'all do that for the in-season tournament. Do it for your pristine prize, the prize that people actually do care about, the prize that everybody's gunning for, the NBA Finals. Do it for that too. Like do it for that. Like put that on the court. Like NBA. Like I need y'all to put that on the court because I would love to see this new logo for the Orlando Magic with that Larry O'Brien trophy behind it. And then on that court got NBA Finals and trimmed in gold for because of the championship, and then the box that shows the scoreboard that's trimmed in gold and in cursive and written NBA Finals and all that different type of stuff. Instead of having all these other brand logos everywhere, like actually promote your actual product that you're showing us. Like actually promote the product that we're vying for. Like I want to see that. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see that. Like that's what I want to see. But but anyway, but the new rebrand, I think they did a solid job. They brought it back enough to the old school as they could, and still had a modern twist. Like I said, it's the old school basketball with a modern day twist. I like that. Like the fact that they darkened the blue. Like the fact they got the pinstripes. And again, my favorite jerseys are the Star jerseys the T Mac wore. Though those like my favorite basketball jersey is that white T Mac jersey, like the Stars white T Mac. Like that's my favorite Orlando Magic jersey. It's like one of my favorite sport jerseys of all time. Like that jersey is fire. So one day when we get the Western throwbacks. Want to see that throwback drop? And we didn't seen the blue stars. We didn't see the blue pinstripe. We didn't see the black pinstripe come back. I want to see the white stars. You know what I'm saying? Just don't ever bring back that light jersey that they had like at the end of the middle of the 2000s, like with Dwight wore his rookie year. Those jerseys were horrible. Like those, like the jersey that T Mac wore his last season, and the jersey that Dwight wore his rookie year when Steve Francis was on the team. Don't ever wear them jerseys. Like them are horrible. Those are the only jerseys I feel like for the Orlando Magic are just bad. Like those jerseys, I can't stand those jerseys. But hey, like I was saying though, we have to but like I said, the rebrand is cool. Like it just surprised it came so early. And I know everybody feeling good right now about the rebrand. But that rebrand don't mean nothing if we ain't winning no games. And to win games, man, we gotta make a real legitimate change, man. Like we gotta make an actual legitimate mindset change. We gotta do what we gotta do. And I seen somebody on the podcast that was talking about like, hey, if the Magic get offensive players that they can't play defense, is Jamal Mosley going to play them? And I'm like, and if that's the case, then we gotta start looking at Jamal Mosley. Like if we can't go and get certain players because and Jamal Mosley just not gonna play him, that's a conversation for another day that we need to look at. Like, okay, hey, Jamal, hey man, we need offense. Like we need offense. I know I get it, you're a defensive mind coach, defense win championships, all that. Defense is good. Like we be suffocating teams. I get that, but we ain't scoring no points, bro. Like we ain't putting the ball in the hoop. Like we not scoring. Like our offense is putrid. It is bad. The offense movement, the movement of the ball is clunky. The shot selection is bad. The shot taking is bad. The no, just anything offensively is bad when it comes to the Orlando Magic. In this bottom, it's not even just bottom of the NFL, bottom of the NBA, like bottom half of the NBA. It is the worst. It is either the worst, the second, or third worst in the NBA. No matter how you slice it, it's either 30th, 28th, 29th. The highest thing is 22nd. Everything else is 30th or 29th or 28th. That's just bad. It's just bad and putrid basketball. It just is. It just is, and we have to do better. It's just bad and putrid basketball. And again, there are guys that are going to be able to be available this offseason. Again, the first domino that needs to fall, I feel like, is probably the Giannis trade. I think once that's domino fall, and there's a situation. I'm not saying the Magic should be getting Giannis. I'm not saying the Magic are in the move in the position to get Giannis. There is a situation that the Giannis move could involve the Magic as a third team, and the Magic are getting another player in that move. And we've seen when daily we hear new names coming out like the Kill Alexander and things like that. We're hearing new names, and the Magic are looking at making a $25 million move and things like that. So we're hearing new information for the past couple of days. Like I said, I got some videos of some options that I feel like are realistic for the Orlando Magic. Again, some of y'all gonna like them. Some of y'all not gonna like them. Because I know, cause I see the Twitter comments all the time. I see the posts. I'm in the comment section all the time. I'm always arguing with people too about certain players because some people be like, "There's no chance I don't want this player at all." And then like the fact of not wanting to get rid of Anthony Black, I'm like, why is Anthony Black why is Anthony Black a no go? Like, why is Anthony Black a no go? Even if you like Anthony Black, why is he just absolutely no? I'm not trading Anthony Black, or I'm not trading I'm not trading Cole Anthony, or I'm not trading Jonathan Isaac. The only people y'all willing to trade is Caleb Houston, Jet Howard, and KCP and Garrett Harris. Like that's all y'all want to trade. Y'all want to trade nobody else and Gogo Patase. That's it. Those are the only people. The only people y'all want to trade, and I guess on some level probably Wendell. Like that's the only people y'all willing to trade. Y'all not willing to trade nobody else. Again, I understand Paulo and friends. They untouchable regardless. I don't care. They are untouchable. Like, we're not trading away Paulo and Franz. Unless you're talking about bringing in SGA. Like, and then you're not trading Paulo on no circumstances. And Franz is only available if you're talking about SGA, or you talk about Anthony Edwards, or you talking about a Wembanyama, or you talking about somebody like that. Like, unless you talk about somebody like that, like if you talking about Ant, you talking about SGA, then yeah, Hey, France would be on the table. We already know those guys ain't getting traded, so that we already know those are moot points. Those guys are not getting traded at all. But so by that logic, France is not on the table. But there is a tier of players that you can't entertain subs. Do I want to give Jalen subs? Absolutely not. I do not want to. Don't want to give up Jalen subs. But depending on the return, it's a conversation, and you need to be willing to do it. You need to be willing to have the conversation. It couldn't just be a no go. Now again, there's also certain players like Darius Garland that is a no go. Like I don't want to trade Jalen Suggs for Darius Garland. I don't want to get Darius Garland for Jalen Suggs. Like I'm not straight up, especially if you add stuff to it. No, I'm not giving up Jalen Suggs to get Darius Garland. So, but there's other people out there that hey, if I want that player, I might have to give up Jalen Suggs. I might be cool with that. I might entertain that. Of actual legitimate options and real legitimate targets for the Orlando Magic. The target this offseason is going to come via trade. It's not going to be free agents. One, there's not really a lot of free agents options, actual free agents this offseason. And two, the Orlando Magic really don't have the flexibility to go out there and sign free agents. I mean, there's some mid-level exceptions and things like that they could do, but it's more than likely going to come via trade. The big fish or whoever the Orlando Magic acquired to help this team is going to happen via trade. And you're going to wait on the domino to fall. You're going to have to wait on the big domino to fall. And that could happen the week of the NBA draft, because I do think draft picks are also going to play a part in a lot of this movement as well, specifically this NBA draft, because you got one team that could potentially get Giannis that has the number 2 pick in the draft in the San Antonio Spurs. So you're going to wait and see exactly where Giannis moves. Does he stay with Milwaukee? Does he stay in the East? Does he move out West? Wherever that domino falls, and then that's when you're going to start seeing the rest of these dominoes. You're going to start seeing the rest of these trades happen. Again, we might even see some things on draft night. We might see some trades on draft night. So again, that's really when the work and is really where the movement is going to be. So in between now and the NBA draft, rather, instead of the free agency, but in between now and between the NBA draft, it's when I'm gonna start dropping some videos and talking about some actual legitimate targets for the Orlando Magic, some real legitimate options to actually help this team take that next level. Because, like I said, Orlando Magic have to understand and realize where they have, where they are, and what they have, what type of player they have in Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and exactly what type of organization they need to be to potentially actually get legitimate championships and be in that legitimate conversation. Because we're talking about all NBA talents when we talk about those two players, and they're going to need help and get legitimate moves, and not just these little small moves, actual legitimate moves to be able to go out and compete for an NBA championship. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.